Just ahead on CTV News, Kilmar Abrego Garcia returns home to Prince George's County, and
the state is trying to tackle chronic absenteeism, and some Prince George's County schools have found a way to turn it around. I'll bring you those details coming up.
Plus, former Maryland Congressman David Trone has his eye back on politics.
Totalitarianism isn't announced. It comes insidiously, act by act. And if we're not speaking out, we're giving in.
These stories and more on CTV News, starting now.
Good evening. This is CTV News for December 12th. I'm Anaya Falcon.
And I'm Jonathan Hunter. Thanks for joining us. Topping our news tonight, after months of legal battles and deportations, Kilmar Abrego Garcia is back home with his family. U.S. District Judge Paul Lazinas ordered for his release yesterday, and he was picked up by his legal team just before 5 p.m. and brought back to Maryland. Just hours later, he went to the ICE field office in Baltimore this morning for a check-in, and Judge Zenas blocked ICE agents from detaining him once again. As he walked out, he was greeted by a crowd full of supporters.
Judges keep telling them they're wrong. The judges keep telling them to stop breaking the law. The judges keep telling him to let him come home. Kilmar, welcome home. You're going to get to stay this time. When we fight, we win. And we will not stop fighting. That's right. Stay strong. That's right.
Y ahora estoy aquí de pie frente a ustedes y la lucha seguirá. Yo seguiré de pie, no le bajaré la cabeza a nadie. Siempre estaré de pie sobre todas las injusticias que ha hecho este gobierno.
I stand here today with my head held up high, and I will continue to fight and stand firm against all of the injustices this government has done upon me.
Abrego Garcia still faces felony smuggling charges in his Tennessee court case. The next trial hearing is set for January.
And snow is expected to make an appearance this weekend, and the Maryland Department of Transportation State Highway Administration is offering tips to keep you safe. The administration advises people to not drive in the snow if they don't have to, stay behind snow plows, and slow down. MDOT SHA crews have already been deployed to pre-treat the roadways for the weekend's winter weather.
If you have to drive, just be aware of our trucks out on the roadway, our crews. They're driving in bad weather as well. So in order to get around quicker and faster and be safe, they're looking out for the traveling public. So I just kind of stress that. One of the most key sayings we've had is don't crowd the plow. So the safer distance you are from them, the easier it is to navigate the roadway.
And about 1 to 3 inches of snow is expected over the weekend. For tools or more information that can be helpful during the winter weather, download MDOT's Storm app and keep an eye on their social media pages.
Prince George's County Police are investigating a deadly hit-and-run crash in Sea Pleasant Thursday night. The crash happened at the area of East Capitol and Davie Street. Sea Pleasant police officers arrived shortly after 7 p.m. and found a man suffering from multiple injuries in the roadway. He was later pronounced dead on the scene. Anyone with any information on the case is asked to call 301-731-4422.
And the Maryland Department of Motor Vehicles is taking a new step to prevent holiday tragedies. The MVA announced new regulations that strengthen the state's ignition interlock program. Previously, those who attempted to start their vehicles with a blood alcohol concentration of 0.025 or higher will be removed from the program and face suspension of their license. Under the new regulation, the MVA may extend a participant's program by 30 days. In the fiscal year 2025, the program prevented over 3,000 attempts to start or operate a vehicle where the driver BAC was greater than 0.08, the legal limit in Maryland.
And chronic absenteeism isn't anything new. It's a decades-old problem. But the county school district says they're doing a lot to curb this issue.
Michaela Newton reports.
Earlier this year, the Maryland State Department of Education released its updates on one of the aligned metrics targets. The report shows chronic absenteeism hit 30% statewide during the 2022-2023 school year. The goal was to cut that in half to 15% by this year. And while rates still haven't bounced back to where they were before the pandemic, some Prince George's County schools are trying new strategies to get students back in the classroom.
Prince George's County is really huge. The areas that I'm servicing in right now, as we speak, immigration is a huge barrier. A lot of the families that I service are terrified what we can do, and that is ensuring families that Prince George's County Public Schools is a safe space, and once they are in our building, they are safe.
Jamila Weldon is on her third year as principal of Glass Manor Elementary School. With the help from an attendance committee that meets on a monthly basis, she says there has been a major improvement in attendance.
As a school leader coming into a school where attendance was a challenge, and we're making progress. So it's very exciting.
Here at Glass Manor Elementary School, they've seen a 13% drop in chronic absenteeism over the past year. They've offered incentives to students as well as showcasing perfect attendance throughout the school.
We started with an incentive trip every quarter to make sure that we highlight the students who were doing a great job of not missing more than 2 to 3 absences per quarter.
Last year, during Aisha Braveboy's term as state's attorney, a truancy study work group was started to help curb the issue. But district leaders say the study group taught them a lot.
What we've learned is that when a family or when a student is starting to become habitually truant, it's time to bring them in a little bit closer to be able to say, hey, you matter.
And for other schools in the county looking to make improvements,
money is a big factor. So all schools are not given the same budget, but you have to be very creative. Just with us putting the paw prints on the wall, that was free.
Our goal is to educate children and make sure children are safe. So building those relationships with parents so that they trust us.
Michaela Newton, CTV News.
And school leaders at Glass Manor Elementary School say they are currently not giving incentives to parents, but say it's something to think about in the future.
Prince George's County is taking a hard look at data centers and what's at stake as leaders weigh their options. A recent study says big data centers could boost local revenue, potentially generating millions in taxes and thousands of jobs in construction and operations. But community concerns are growing. Residents and advocates worry about environmental impacts, energy demands, and nearby neighborhoods. The Qualified Data Center Task Force made recommendations to the County Council last month with strong emphasis on zoning rules and environmental safeguard. The County Council is expected to consider legislation based on the recommendations this winter.
Maryland Delegate Vanessa Atterbury is stepping down next month as she turns her focus to her run for Howard County Executive. Her announcement comes just a week after Speaker Adrienne Jones said she's leaving her post and just days before lawmakers return for a special session to pick a new speaker. Democrats are rallying around Delegate Jocelyn Pena-Melnick for that role. Atterbury says while she once expected to pursue the speakership herself, it's simply time for a new chapter.
And Governor Wes Moore says Maryland is moving forward with clear priorities for 2026. He told county leaders the focus is on the ABCs of governing: affordability, budgets, and competitiveness. Moore pointed to a middle-class tax cut and billions in new private investment as proof the state is gaining momentum. He says Maryland will keep pushing to cut energy costs, boost housing supply, and make smart budget decisions without putting more pressure on working families. Moore says the goal is simple: build a stronger, more affordable Maryland for everyone.
After spending $62 million on a losing Senate race, billionaire businessman David Trone says he's not done with politics, and now he wants his old House seat back. The former Maryland congressman and Total Wine and More owner announced a comeback campaign, launching a Democratic primary challenge against first-term Congresswoman April McClain Delaney, a former ally he once backed. Trone says President Donald Trump's second term pushed him out of retirement, arguing the district needs a more aggressive vote against Trump and MAGA Republicans.
just sit by. We need to all stand up. I've taken on Trump before, voting twice to impeach him, battling to save Obamacare, and repeatedly standing up for women's reproductive rights in the face of his threats. Personally funding a women's health clinic in Allegheny County when West Virginia banned abortions, and personally paying for immigration lawyers to protect vulnerable communities being threatened by Trump's brutal immigration policies. We can't have any Democrats in Congress voting with Trump. We need to be fighting against him with every damn thing we've got.
McLean Delaney fired back, calling Trone's move arrogant and insisting the seat is not a consolation prize. Trone says he's prepared to spend whatever it takes to win.
And you're watching CTV News. I'm Anaya Falcon.
And I'm Jonathan Hunter. Still to come, a unique program is teaching local high school students the consequences of breaking the law and the ins and outs of the county court system. I'm going to have that story right after the break.
I just knew that I wasn't the high-performing person I used to be. Pieces of my past are being erased. I was lucky. We caught this at the very earliest stages. I hope that my story can give other people hope. There is life to be lived. Increasingly, there will be treatments. We need to invest even more in research and finding treatments and cures. If your loved one or you yourself are sitting there thinking, something is wrong, I'm not who I used to be, you can get some answers and you can get them for free.
Welcome back. A South Carolina Republican has introduced a bill to rename the area near the White House, once known as Black Lives Matter Plaza, after conservative activist Charlie Kirk. Representative Nancy Mace wants it to be called the Charlie Kirk Freedom of Speech Plaza, saying it honors his commitment to First Amendment rights. The proposal would require official signs and updates to federal maps and records if it becomes law. Critics, including D.C. lawmakers, say the district should decide local street names, not Congress. The bill has been referred to a House committee, and its future remains unclear. And we now have updates into a lawsuit where a woman was suing the county and the officer who crashed into her car 4 years ago and left her with lingering health issues. The lawsuit was expected to go to trial, but this week, and the county had agreed to settle and pay the driver, Young Mi Kim, $275,000. The county is still denying the liability of the crash, and the police department says the officer, Corporal Quan Lack, is still on the force and hasn't faced any disciplinary action for the crash.
Students in Prince George's County came to the district court in Upper Marlboro for the Schools in the Court program. This is where students learned firsthand the importance of making smart choices so they don't end up in the criminal justice system.
Courtroom 357 turned into a real-world classroom today for students at Parkdale and Bladensburg High Schools. They first heard from a doctor who explained to them the dangers of fentanyl and what to do if you see someone having an overdose, a lesson teachers wanted their students to learn.
And as young people, we were able to get a piece in here regarding fentanyl, which was excellent from one of the doctors that really gave a great video and explanations.
Next, 4 students took place in a mock traffic stop where they agreed to ride and drive in a car, not knowing the owner was going to report the car stolen. During the traffic stop, officers located a bag that had 2 guns and drugs. As a result, everyone was arrested.
So we wanted them to hear from actual patrol officers what they're thinking about and what they're doing when they're affecting a traffic stop. We wanted them to leave here knowing what an appropriate traffic stop looks like, how to interact with law enforcement, what their rights are at the traffic stop.
During the Schools in Court program, students got to hear directly from public defenders, prosecutors, and police officers. Judge Lisa Hall Johnson says she wants students to be exposed to the different career paths, but also know that life is all about choices.
So the theme really is choices, right? Choices have consequences. And so we want them to understand that they're going to be presented with the opportunity to make choices, either good choices or bad choices. We don't tell them what to do, but we give them good information so that they can make positive choices with positive outcomes.
David Person teaches Homeland Security and Criminal Justice classes at Parkdale. He says the things they're learning are in the curriculum, but it's nothing like getting a real-life demonstration.
This was absolutely firsthand and personal experience. It added, it just amplified the things that we do in classroom. They now saw it firsthand.
Schools in the Court is held once a quarter. Judge Johnson says she is hoping to expand the program.
And a church growing behind bars marked a major milestone this week inside the Prince George's County Jail. The Prince George's County Department of Corrections celebrated the 2-year anniversary of Moving Forward Ministries, a non-denominational, all-Christian church founded within the jail. The program began with 13 incarcerated participants and has grown to more than 120 people attending weekly services. The anniversary service featured a full worship experience, including music, scripture, a sermon, and a choir made up of incarcerated individuals.
It has been very positive. Individuals that you see here have been coming every week. For the staff, it's also had a positive impact because we're able to calm the individuals with this service. It brings them peace. So it's win-win on both parts.
Coming to church on every Thursdays, we look very much forward to it. It helps our day go by. It helps us feel better about our situation. Like, though we are incarcerated, being able to praise the Lord and hear the chaplain preach is wonderful. It keeps our spirits high.
Corrections officials say the ministry will continue weekly services at the facility.
Last night, the Clean Water Partnership celebrated the graduation of its Capacity Development Program. The program has been recognized nationally for growing local, small, and disadvantaged businesses in the emerging green infrastructure market. The event highlighted program leaders, partners, graduates, and how the program has positioned Prince George's County as a national leader in green economy development.
Right. Basically, we're developing businesses, helping them build capacity, and helping them scale. That's the whole program. We do a monthly workshop, we do business coaching, and basically we try to feed into the owners, right? Our philosophy is that we can grow the owner, we can grow the business. Every business is different and we treat them all different. We treat them based on where they are, and we're trying to get them to a place that they want to go. So some of them have trouble in marketing, some of them have trouble with their back office and accounting, some of them have trouble customer relations. So whatever it is that they have trouble with, we're trying to focus on that so that they're better businesses when they come out of the program.
So far, more than 100 small businesses graduated from the program and has generated more than $60 million in awarded contracts.
And Governor Moore is continuing his fight to put an end to child poverty by investing more than $19 million in grant funds. The funds will go toward the second year of the Enough initiative. $18 million will go to the Enough grant funds for 28 high poverty communities across 12 counties. $1.5 million will go to philanthropic partners with the Enough Alliance to support implementation of the programs.
Metro has presented their proposed budget for fiscal year 2027 and are asking for improvement in service across buses and trains without fare increases. General Manager Randy Clark proposes short wait times at the orange, silver, and blue lines during weekdays and on the red line at night. Also, no increase in fares next year after the $2.25 fare increase back in July. This is a part of Metro's goal to engage more riders as they have seen increase in ridership since the pandemic from 81 million trips in fiscal year 2021 to 268 million this past year.
And a biologist on the Eastern Shore is asking for the public's help in tracking a big yellow spider. The Joro spider is easiest to spot in the fall when the adult females reach their maximum size, with a leg span of up to 4 inches. She is calling for observers to snap photographers of the spider and to report them in the iNaturalist app. The bright yellow invasive spider may look scary, but it's actually harmless to humans.
Still to come on CTV News.
We're bringing you part 3 of our newest series, Hidden Gems Around the Beltway.
Stay tuned.
Hear that? That's the sound of your life. Perfectly imperfect. But every time you drive after drinking, the music gets drowned out. Your life sounds pretty great. Don't let a buzz ruin it. Buzzed driving is drunk driving. Don't drive buzzed.
Things happening.
I just love that intro music. It just gets you in the mood. What about yourself, Anaya?
Definitely. I love it.
For sure. Today, we're bringing you part 3 of CTV's newest segment, Hidden Gems Around the Beltway, where we explore all things Prince George's County.
Today, we're wrapping things up in Laurel and taking a look at some of its historical landmarks, including a church which was once a target for the Ku Klux Klan initiatives. Today, we're slowing things down a bit and taking a tour of some of the city's historical landmarks. We start this segment at the peaceful grounds of St. Mark's United Methodist Church, the heartbeat of the Grove. Founded in 1890, St. Mark's became a focal point for worship, community life, and advocacy during the Civil Rights Movement. The Grove is a historic African-American community. For generations of families, it was more than a place to live. It was a safe haven in a segregated city. Despite many challenges faced by hate groups and society, the determination of this community led to the desegregation of schools, public space, and local establishments in Laurel. Just at the end of the block is the Laurel Museum, where stories of mill workers and early residents come to life. As we make our way down one of the county's first main streets, the past and present walk side by side. Historic buildings that housed mill workers now hold local food spots and small businesses. Crossing over Route 1, we come to a place that has connected travelers and conductors from all over. Built in 1884, the Laurel train station is one of the oldest continuously operating stations in Maryland, once a vital stop along the B&O Railroad and now key mobility for MARC customers. And just around the corner, an old inn where train conductors once rested. Now home to Sankofa Yoga, a beautiful reminder that history doesn't disappear, it transforms.
We named it Sankofa, again, as a cultural historian. Go back and get it, is to reclaim what's ours, reclaim your body, reclaim your breath, and know that you have the innate wisdom in you to understand how your body moves, grows, how you can heal. And I think that healing happens in community. So Sankofa was birthed 2019. We opened up our doors. This building was built in 1898, and we are the first Black owners of this building. The history is just, every day I think about it, when I drive up to the building, I literally imagine what it was, who has been the stewards of this space and this land for over a century. Main Street alone is so instrumental into the development of Prince George's County. When folks would come into this county specifically, because right outside this light is the next county, when they would enter the city of Laurel, they would enter at the train station. And so this building was a hotel for train conductors. And they would stay here until their next ride. It became a community space. It was the most recognizable building in the city because it was the largest building. We're really just grateful not only to be the first Black owners of the space, but also to continue the legacy of holding space and being a community hub. Because in the same way that this building provided shelter for folks when they needed refuge in the middle of transition or traveling, we like to look at it in the same way of shelter and refuge in health and wellness. Definitely got to check us out. You can't miss us. We're the largest building here. We're at the top of the street. Sankofa, biggest day. And we're just excited to have you join us.
And be sure to check out this series on our YouTube page and stay tuned for more hidden gems around the county. And don't move just yet. Simon Buggs is next with our Friday Sports page.
That's right. And here we're getting some basketball highlights. What's happening, Simon?
Stay tuned for your Friday Sports page, everybody, because the Largo High School boys basketball team took on Frederick Douglass. And could the Lions start their state title defense off with the win? Find out right here on CTV Sports.
The power of the knock is food. Your stew's delicious. I'm 88 years old, and I was with the Ice Capades when I was young. Now, being as old as I am, I lose balance. I don't like ending up this way, but what am I going to do? I got Meals on Wheels for the 5 years that I've been here. It's nice to know they come, and if you feel like talking, you can talk to them. I could talk for forever. They're totally a blessing.
Okay, sports fans, listen up because the segment you've been waiting for has finally arrived. Now, there was some high school hoops action going on over in Largo last night as the Lions hosted Frederick Douglass for their first game of the season. Now, the Lions got off to a good start as this stray ball made by Aiden Ash off of the inbounds pass, this chase down block from Kanan Ward, and Ward making another play as he knocked down another triple for his team, helped Largo jump out to an 11-6 lead to open the first quarter. But the Eagles did shave a couple points off Largo's lead with this putback shot from wing Dorian Totten, and Kobe Turning having the nice touch on this floater cut the Lions' lead to just 11-10. But Frederick Douglass couldn't take the lead, and Largo went into the second quarter up 17-12 over the Eagles. In the second quarter, some good defense and more shot making from Largo had them up 12 at one point, leading 35-23. But Largo's double-digit lead was short-lived as this three-pointer made by Turner right in his defender's grill, and another tray ball, this time in the corner, made by Curtis Valentine, helped the Eagles end the quarter only down 41-32 on the Lions. And in the end, Largo was able to hold on and win their first game of the season, beating Frederick Douglass 81-64. Congratulations, fellas. And there was even more basketball action last night as Oxon Hill took down Friendly 59-50. Bladensburg won their road game against Laurel 69-60. And finally, High Point routed Northwestern, winning 76-54. Meantime, it's no secret that the Commanders' 2025 season hasn't gone their way, with injuries and an 8-game losing streak headlining what has been a disaster of a season for the Burgundy and Gold. But even though Washington's playoff hopes are out the window and it seems like the team has nothing to play for, head coach Dan Quinn still wants his team to put forth a good effort as the season comes to a close.
There's a lot to play for, and we talked about this being a 4-game division tournament here for us beginning in the Meadowlands, and so when you have a career worst performance, you get back up off the mat and you swing first. That's what that's what competitors and battling for it do. So that's what I expect to see from our team, how we go after it, the style and the attitude that we want to do that together. So that's what I'm expecting to see fully this week in that game. A lot that we had to address and didn't like, but I certainly don't think that's anything that's indicative of what's ahead.
Washington will take the field next against the New York Giants on Sunday at 1 o'clock. And moving on to the NBA, the Washington Wizards will return to action tonight against the Cleveland Cavaliers at 7 o'clock. And finally, the Capitals will try to bounce back from their loss against the Carolina Hurricanes last night in their game against the Winnipeg Jets tomorrow. The puck drops at 7 o'clock. And that wraps up your Friday sports page. Simon Buggs, CTV Sports. Have a good weekend, everyone.
Thanks, Simon. And for our community calendar, CTV's Toy Drive is officially open.
Help give the children of Prince George's County a better Christmas by bringing in an unwrapped toy to the CTV office anytime between 9 a.m. and 5 p.m. We'll be accepting gifts until Friday, December 19th. For more information, you can email ctv@pgctv.org.
And that's a wrap for CTV News for now. Thanks so much for joining us.
We're going to see you again on Monday. Have a great weekend and have a great night, everyone.